A Law for Christmas may be the lowest rated film on IMDb that I have ever watched, ever discussed. I don't know that for certain, but I will say I don't think it deserves quite a low rating. It's not amazing, and I'll talk more about that in a moment, but if you have looked at that rating before and recoiled, it's definitely not that bad. This was released in 2023. It's directed by Simon Wesely, written by Joshua Wesely, Simon Wesely, and Jeffrey Wilson, and it stars Savannah Lathem as Gloria. And the rating on IMDb is 1.1 out of 10. Okay, so that's only across 419 reviews and ratings, but needless to say, that's not exactly very promising at all. However, as I said, I really don't think it's that bad. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good film, but it's definitely not terrible. I will highlight some things that I think were done quite well. I will, of course, mention things that I think contribute to that low rating, but I won't give any spoilers just in case you decide to watch it. It is watchable, maybe only just. I can kind of understand the negative reception, but definitely not 1.1 out of 10. It's a bit harsh. This is about a character called Gloria, and she has been promoted to Secretary of Agriculture. And in the run-up to Christmas, she has to go to this inn or this B&B and interview people in the town, and it doesn't exactly go according to plan. She's there expecting people to say, "Oh, you're fantastic, you do great work for us, everything's going really well," but actually that's not the reception. She finds that actually people are not doing well with a lot of things that the committees have been doing for them or putting into place for them and making things difficult when it shouldn't be that difficult. And Gloria is not likeable. At no point in the film is she likeable, but certainly in the beginning she's very cold, very callous, very abrasive. She's a horrible person, self-centered, rude, not pleasant at all. So obviously when people are telling her, actually no, what your company is doing or the government is doing is not good for us, she's not used to people telling her she's less than perfect. And we do have a couple of tantrums. And obviously the main part of this narrative is to help people, but also for Gloria to soften, to actually become a better person, to actually do things for other people rather than because she wants to climb in her career. It's a pretty classic Christmas narrative of big city girl visits small countryside and realizes that there's more to life than wealth and career success. And that part of it, I think, is done well. I think the narrative flows well. I think the pacing is very good. The story works well. I have no issues with that at all. And since I am narrative-driven when it comes to films, people look for different things in films. For me, first and foremost, I look for a good story. And while it may not be the most compelling narrative, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it was absolutely fine. The second thing I look for in a film is a good character, likable protagonists, well-written antagonists. The character is irritating. Gloria is so annoying. Even when she goes through some character development, I don't want to say too much, of course, but even as her character develops, I never really warmed to her. It did get easier to watch her, but ultimately I came away from the film still not liking her. I just don't really care for her at all. And that meant it was quite hard to get behind her journey emotionally because I just wasn't believing the character development. That's not to say the character development couldn't happen. It's just that I hated her so much for such a long time that it was hard to believe she was capable of change. So for me, the characters, well, the rest of the characters, absolutely fine. No other character annoyed me. But obviously she is the protagonist and she irritated me quite a lot. And then we have the performances. The performances, actually, I think Savannah Lathem as Gloria, absolutely fine. Not a bad performance. There definitely are some wooden performances for some of the supporting characters, though. Nothing terrible, but there were times when it felt like people were reading a script. When you can tell somebody is acting, that's not a sign of good acting because you shouldn't think they're acting. It should be convincing and be believable. And there were times when I felt like people were just reading off of a script. Not all of the way throughout it, and not necessarily consistently with the same people either. I feel like some people would give an okay performance in one scene, really wouldn't in the next. So I didn't really love that too much. but it wasn't insufferable. The acting wasn't so bad that I couldn't watch the film. And then we have the Christmas aspect. Is it a Christmassy Christmas film? It's okay. It's not the most festive film in the world, but there are some nice Christmas decorations. It works well enough as a Christmas film. If you're not a fan of Christmas films that are too Christmassy, then it might be okay. It's not sickly sweet. Personally, when it comes to Christmas films, I think the more Christmas the better, but I know some people prefer it when it's toned down a little bit. So, in that regard, it's okay. Do I recommend the film? Only if, like me, you want to watch every single Christmas feature film. That is my mission in life. Then I'd say, sure, check it out. It is watchable. Maybe only just, but it is. I do not think it deserves the 1.1 rating. I feel like, in general, it ticks enough boxes. The story works really well. The Christmas aspect is okay. Some of the acting is fine. And the camera work, the music, no problems there. In fact, I really want to praise the music because it's not overbearing. Often with a lot of films, particularly films of films that seem like they have a lower budget and less quality behind them, often the music, I don't know why, but often the music is so loud that I can't hear the dialogue. And that's not the case here. And I really want to praise the film for that because I'm so fed up of watching these films that are lower budget, or they seem lower budget. I don't know what the budget was for this. And the music is just insufferable. Not the case here. So I'm actually really pleased about that because that's not always the case. So the technical aspects, absolutely fine. The narrative, I thought it was pretty good. The characters apart from Gloria are okay. Gloria is insufferable, but Savannah Lathem's performance is not too bad. If you're a Christmas fan, if you like Christmas films, I'd say check it out. I think there are enough elements in this for it to be watchable, but if you're maybe not that enthusiastic about Christmas films and you're just looking for an entertaining watch, I think it's probably not worth it. But if it sounds like it would appeal to you, check it out. A Law for Christmas may not be perfect, but it definitely isn't terrible.